On the surface, Ages of Cataria is all cozy hearths and sleepy village mornings, but under the tea and timber, it's a surprisingly crunchy settlement sim that isn't quite ready for everyone. So is it worth building your town today, or wiser to let the village wake up a little more first? Ages of Cataria presents as a village builder first and a life sim second. You arrive with a pocket full of hopes and a very small toolkit, then slowly organise resources, define the bones of your town, and begin crafting the identity of your settlement. What makes it interesting, and occasionally frustrating, is how it layers cozy aesthetics over interlocking systems that expect you to pay attention. Early on, the village fantasy is immediate. You place your first workstations, outline a market square, and watch villagers trace soft daily paths. The town feels like a candle wick just catching, a flicker that hints at warmth to come. In these first few hours, Ages of Cataria absolutely understands the joy of visible progress. Every new structure looks and feels like you're committing to a future. But once the tutorial hand-holding fades, the signposts get fuzzy. The game doesn't teach you enough to move, but always enough to choose well. You'll unlock 3 viable tasks at once, all equally reasonable, and the UI doesn't always spotlight which path meaningfully progresses the town. It's not indecipherable, it's just undirected. What the game nails conceptually is role clarity. Your job is to be the village's connective tissue, the one who turns scattered resources into livable structure. That's compelling in a quiet way. The friction is that your mental model of progression occasionally conflicts with the game's model. When those align, Cataria sings. When they don't, you feel like you're spinning 3 plates and can't tell which one earns the next meaningful unlock. Loop reads cleanly on paper. Gather, craft, build, upgrade, expand. In play, it's crunchier than it looks. Consider a modest house. Trees become logs, logs become planks, planks plus nails, nails require ore needs smelting, smelting consumes fuel you're diverted from cooking. Each of these is sensible, but the chain length invites planning. If you're a min-maxer, there's an undeniable pleasure in shaving steps, rerouting workstations, placing storage near production, and timing harvest runs to avoid idle queues. You'll find small efficiencies and those become your player's story. It's not a spreadsheet sim, but it rewards attention with subtle convenience. 2 design choices complicate that pleasure. First, UI clutter. Important information, material shortfalls, subcomponents, where a bottleneck originates is present, but often nested. You tap through tabs to confirm a hunch, only to learn that your nails weren't the bottleneck, your real problem was fuel throughput 2 steps upstream. Second, the economy swings. Some cycles feel generous, others feel like you set your bag down and half your twigs evaporated. The instability can be exciting in a survival game, but in a cozy builder it risks noise over signal. Where the loop excels is feedback. Every new bench, every placed path looks like progress and feels like agency. The village evolves with your decisions, but the loop also exposes how much the game would benefit from 2 specific upgrades. Clear dependency servicing, a smart "you're stuck because X is starving Y" hint, and batch crafting quality of life. Those 2 together would turn planning from detective work into satisfying orchestration. The vibe work is quietly stellar. Morning mist across rooftops, villagers crossing paths in the square, a hearth that looks like it would warm your hands through the screen. The polish, though, is uneven. One minute you're sinking into the ambience, the next a camera angle refuses to cooperate, or an interaction takes 2 clicks too many. Let's talk crafting feel. Conceptually, the networks are satisfying, you're building an ecosystem. Practically, the click cadence can slip from meditative to busy work. If you're the kind of player who enjoys ritual, open bench, craft, move, collect, repeat, this is cozy. If you crave flow, you'll wish for some gentle automation or smarter defaults, so your attention can rise to town planning, not menu choreography. Emotionally, there's a specific comfort here. The sound of progress is subtle, wind, footfalls, the thunk of wood, but the itchy seam is real. The extra click, the misplaced snap, the tab that opens to the wrong panel, none of these are fatal, they're just reminders that early access is a house you're moving into while they're still painting the trim. The standout success is how meaningful village growth feels. Even a small bench changes the silhouette of your square and the way people move. Over time, you're not just placing objects, you're composing a place. That's rare. The town becomes a character whose mood you design. The settlers contribute a lot with light touch personality. They're not deeply storied yet, but their routines of work, wonder, pause give the settlement a rhythm. Seeing two villagers pass near a new stall and briefly consider it is a tiny moment that sells the illusion of a place with lived-in habits. And I appreciate the game's respect for your time. Craft and task timers aim for considerate rather than grinding. There's little of the log-in or miss-out pressure. It's a design stance that honors the cozy promise, come back when you want to, not because you're forced to. That philosophy makes Cataria feel like a home base, not a job. Comparatively, if Stardew Valley is the personal farm journal and Fae Farm is the whimsical chore list, Ages of Cataria leans town choreography. It occupies a nice space, more systemic than a pure life sim, less punishing than a survival builder. That identity, once polished, could be its enduring strength. But let's talk where it stumbles. First, building placement is often too fiddly. Cozy builders thrive when snapping and rotation make you feel clever, like the world wants to help your idea become real. Cataria sometimes pushes back, objects hug edges you didn't intend, rotation increments feel imprecise, and tiny terrain quirks create invisible collisions. It's not constant, but when your fantasy is curated village with intention, fighting the grid breaks the spell. Second, performance hitches and small bugs. As your settlement grows, camera sweeps across busy scenes can stutter, a UI pane might refuse to remember the tab you used last, and the villager path may get confused at a corner and jitter in place for a moment. All understandable in early access, but they accumulate into sand in the gears of a cozy loop that should otherwise glide. Third, the UI labyrinth. Craft chains often require you to confirm what feeds what, and while the information technically exists, it's not surfaced with urgency. A dependency graph, a shortage badge, or a likely bottleneck hint could save 5 clicks per decision. Multiply by 100 decisions, and you've found your friction budget. 2 changes would elevate the entire experience. First, a progression track, milestone cards, a soft tech ladder, or a town charter screen that tells you what matters now, would transform the middle hours from busy to purposeful. And second, a smarter building grid. Clearer snapping, granular rotation, and a ghost preview that indicates path impacts would turn placement from wrestling into craft. If you love cozy builders and settlement sims, Ages of Cataria is squarely for you, especially if you like tuning systems and nudging a world forward. It rewards the player who asks, what if I move storage here and put fuel there, and who enjoys the ritual of watching small steps become a town. If you're performance sensitive or play on older hardware, I would wait. The bones are good, the heart is warm, but the smoothing isn't done. In a genre that's fundamentally about comfort, that's an important trade to weigh. For co-op inclined players, it's a solo game, so I would consider that before purchasing. But what's its value today? I'd call Ages of Cataria a wishlist and watch. The short, comfy loops make it easy to pick up after dinner and tick off a small goal. The foundation is promising, a town-first sim with enough system steps to keep your brain lightly engaged while your heart drinks in the vibes. But what I'm watching for next is late-game direction that turns more of the same into now the town aspires, and quality of life and light automation for crafting, even soft automation that's opt-in. And third, that building grid overhaul. Snap logic, rotation precision, pathing preview. If 2 of those 3 land, Ages of Cataria shifts from I like living here on the weekends to this is my main save. From a price to time perspective, cozy builders can offer extraordinary value even before 1.0, provided the friction isn't a dominant feeling. Right now, Cataria's friction is noticeable but fixable. If you're curious, wishlist it, watch a patch or 2, and dive in when the notes match your priorities: placement, performance, and signposting. So is Ages of Cataria a worth it or skip it? Today for most players, Ages of Cataria is a wait. The cozy heart is here, the systems are satisfyingly crunchy, but the trio of fiddly placement, UI clutter, and performance hitches holds it a step back from that easy no-brainer recommendation. My confidence level right now is mixed, not because the vision is unclear, but because the fixes are clear. A progression track that points to what matters now, and a building grid that delights instead of fights, would change the texture of this game overnight. Until then, I'm happy to wishlist, skim patch notes, and sketch new market square layouts for the moment I return. And I do want to return. There's something gentle and hopeful about this village that I don't want to rush. But here's a question for you. Which system should they improve first, the progression guidance or the building grid? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be reading and collecting your ideas for a follow-up. And if this helped, like and subscribe for more cozy, honest reviews. Next up, I'm digging into another comfort sim with big ambitions and a clever twist on the building formula. I'll see you soon for my Winter Borough review.